And I'm about to launch. One of the questions you said you were interested in discussing was the advent of digital textile design in my work. And that's where I'm soon going to be writing about that experience, it was huge in terms of the capabilities and possibilities that it opened up in the visual dimensions of my work. And I'll always be grateful for that opportunity. That's one of the pluses as the university system, especially in a Research One university. You have a mandate to do creative work, to conduct research, to do creative work, but you also get the support to do it. And having at my disposal cutting edge digital textile printer uh, was it was huge in terms of the doors that opened for me and for the students that I worked with it. Uh, and it was a huge advantage, I think,
Yeah.
in their experience, in my experience as a teacher, but also in my experience as a maker.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Would you talk a little bit more about how that impacted your work? And as you said, it impacted students, it impacted other faculty within the
Mhm,
department that now still are exhibiting digital textile printed quilts and
mhm. Well, one of those was Vince Cavetto out at Kent State, and
yes, he's
his
not, he's one of the guests on the podcast too.
he started working with the printer as well and has developed his work uh, from that point quite successfully. Well, one of the limitations or one of the challenges, let's say, of the conventional modes of quilt making is the difficulty of uh, layering imagery because processes are all so labor intensive and time intensive that there is, at least for me, there wasn't much immediacy. If I launched into a project, it was going to be at least a month to 2 or 3 months before completion. And a big piece of that was the having to work with commercial fabrics or trade fabrics, which was limiting. Now, I did get into surface design in the late 90s and was painting on fabric for a period of time. But again, it is still hugely labor intensive. Now, that said, digital textile printing I found is also time consuming and labor intensive. But the capability of getting imagery on fabric quickly is much higher. And that was great because I learned very soon after that digital textile printer came into our department, I forced myself to learn the Adobe Creative Suite programs, especially Photoshop and Illustrator. And that was a deep uphill because I wasn't particularly interested in that kind of technology initially or adept at it. But I forced myself because I knew that would be the key to really taking advantage of the capabilities of